Okay, so let me open up the call just for questions and so forth real quick right here. I'm going to go to the next phase. I'm going to open up the line. Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah. So when water is through the municipality, chlorinated, fluorinated, and then you've got the inline unit in your home, it doesn't automatically get rid of those chemicals, but are you saying that does it neutralize them, or is your body still taking on the chlorine and the fluoride, but you're getting hydrated? That's something my brain's not getting around. So
that's a really great question. That's a two-part answer. The first
Sure.
thing is that the information in the water is changing with the higher frequency. So the fluorides, the frequencies, the chemicals you're talking about, their molecular structure, everything is energy. It's either let me just slow down for a minute. Energy can either be created or destroyed. It changes form. So we change the form of the energy. What we do is because of the current and because of the information in the units themselves and the level of current, that rapid energy that goes through it, we actually change the molecular structure of the contaminant. Because its core is water. Its core is harmonic. Everything is harmonic. I mean, it's a simple principle called attunement. We don't call it that. I call it that. It's attunement. If you're looking to shift something to a higher frequency, you come at it from a higher frequency. If you want to shift the ability to you want to clarify your mind or clear your mind, you meditate. You meditate to higher a frequency. You pray to bring in a higher frequency. You know, when it talked about, David went to the upper room to pray. He went up to the higher realms. He went to access higher information. We get body work done. We get chi. We get Oriental medicine because I wanted to bring in a higher frequency of information that would shift the information I had to work with. So that's the same thing is true. Fluoride is ultimately a frequency. It is a chemical, but it's also a frequency. So as I begin to work with that, I change its ability to impact the body because I change its potency level.
So that the chloride is still in the water, but now it doesn't affect us the same way as it would have been had it not been changed.
The chloride has become a less dangerous haloquin than it was prior to running it through the water. You may smell some chlorine, but it's not the impact because it's now released chlorine. It's now released the disharmonic properties of that chlorine for your cells and tissues. And the quantitative effect of continuing to run that energy each time you take a shower, you're actually increasing the amount of detoxing going on in the body. So the body's raising up its immune system so it can deal with the fluoride and chlorine itself. But since you were never taught anything about full spectrum living, you were never taught anything about that. So you just thought, well, I got to get rid of the chemicals somehow. So I'm going to put a filter on it. Okay. But what is a filter? A filter just reduces something's velocity of impact. It stops it. It doesn't remove it. It doesn't kill it. It just holds it. Okay. Now, what we know now is that doesn't work because ultimately that frequency is still going to go through that filtration system. And by the way, the filtration systems that they use in water treatment are really aggressive filters. That memory is in the water. So, I mean, okay, you asked me the other day about I read if I channel. I'm about to channel, so to speak. If you think about this as a child, if you think about this of course it has fluorine in it. Yeah, fluoride in it. So if you think about this as a form of abuse, or a form of abusing something over and over and over again. How much if you continue to abuse something, it doesn't have to be a child, it could be anything. It could be our own relationship to food or whatever it is. We continue to detox, we lose our ability to discern. We lose our ability to make sense of certain things. And so then we adapt. And believe me, we're adapting right now as human beings. We're adapting all over the place on this planet. We're adapting. You brought somebody in from the 20th century right now, and they'd be here for 3 days, they'd die. They couldn't adapt to the level of chemicals and level of pollution that we're living with every day. We're a very adaptive species, and we've been adapting and adapting and adapting. And the impact now is our immune systems are on the stake. You know, they're throwing themselves on the stake, so to speak, as an expression. I want to touch on one more thing before I open up the call. So there's a really big issue now, folks, really, really, really big. And it has to do with the EMF pollution. You see, the EMF pollution is causing a whole new level of issue here because it's modifying the DNA of the water. It's modifying the DNA of our water. So the electromagnetic current is coming from the frequencies. Let me give you an example, and we'll get to the Bovis now. Let me give you an example that you're using, you're giving not life-giving technologies. You're not using life-giving technologies. You're giving life-taking technologies. Okay? A cell phone is a life-taking technology. A smart meter is a life-taking technology. People are going to like come out of the woodwork on this one. You know, these are life-taking technologies, not life-giving technologies. Okay. When we measure their life force ability, they take life, not give life. A computer takes life, not gives life, as an electromagnetic magnetobio device. So Amy, you missed this part, or maybe you heard it. Electromagnetic pollution is causing a level of DNA informational change that's mutating your DNA. Do not pretend that the people running this planet do not understand what's going on this planet. This is the foundation for artificial intelligence. This is the way of altering the receptors and the information and the ability to discern, the ability to hear God, the ability to connect with certain things, that is shifting people's ability to perceive and make conscious decisions that are right and wrong. That's why we're in this madness right now in the world about rioting, because people can't discern right from wrong, because their antenna is completely is toxic. Their pollution and information is so toxic they don't know where they're coming or going. So the information that was put in the water has been distorted. And now, with your permission, I'm going to move on to air, unless somebody has any questions about water. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, this one's been on my mind. So let's say we get the inline unit, but the inline is then effectively 100 yards away. And it goes through the tubes or whatever to get to your faucet, and could sit there maybe for more than 24 hours before you use it again, or it actually gets from the inline to your faucet. How long does the water stay structured for?
It's a great question, and it's not an easy answer, but I can give you the agricultural answer. As we've done this in India across long spaces and so forth, the information has still been a 20-40% increase in yield. So what I mean is the information, once it's changed in the water, it doesn't like back up. It doesn't like seep back the other way. So once you change the information in the water, it's changing the information in the water. And there are certain things called dead spaces. And as the water's turned back on, you're running the water again. So as the water, you're re-optimizing the water all over again. You follow me? All pipes have dead spaces in them where the water doesn't flow perfectly right. Okay. Now, pipes is an issue all by itself because water in a pipe does not flow. It doesn't spin and move. Nature is spinning and moving. This is another component of why the water is dead, because water flows in a pipe through something called hydraulic pumping, but it doesn't spin and move. The water has to spin and move because the spinning and moving, there are 4 properties here that these units produce. Number 1 is they produce energy. When a water comes down a mountainside or a waterfall, it spins and moves. It breaks apart one cluster and it creates a new cluster, and it creates a new cluster, new cluster. That creates hydro energy, creates energy, okay? It also creates ions. There are like 10,000 ions in a wave on an ocean. That's why you love the ocean so much, because it creates the ionization. The ionization, then you can, the 4th thing is energetic capacity. We got to put the right information back in the water. At one time, 1,000 years ago, the right information was in the water, but we got to put the information back in the water, and then those together create a charge or a spark that changes the whole thing. It produces a frequency shift. Now, your answer to your question is, as long as the water is spinning and moving as you turn on the tap or as it pulls down the line, it's okay. You could choose, if it's a long distance in a residential situation, you could choose to put another unit right at the source. You could choose to put either one of the combo units or one of the shower units. That might be an all-purpose location for that. That makes sense to do that. But I would monitor that based on how you feel from the water. And you guys are very vibrationally frequency, so you could actually muscle test that water as it comes through the tap and see if it's giving you life force or not. Now, I would probably make it more simpler than that. Okay, so I want to parallel into this Bovis conversation because this is a real game changer. All right, Barbara, I want to have you give a testimonial in a little bit. How you doing with your energy? Just give me a thumbs up if you're okay.
Tired today, but generally great.
Okay. Okay, so what I wanted you to understand about this Bovis information is there's very few ways to measure this vitality in the water, this life force energy. And Natalia, you talked about this guy the other day who's going to buy a 3,000 to 5,000 pound filtration system, and he thinks he's getting the best of the best of the best. But what he's not getting is vitality and life force in his water. And he has no context for that. You understand now why. So what we're dealing with here is this information that's not providing what we really need. So what is it, this Bovis scale, and why do I have this information given to you? Because this Bovis scale measures the life-giving energy in the water, or the opposite of the life-taking energy in anything, not just the water, everything, what you have on you, what you're wearing, what you consume, your couch, your furniture, everything has a certain level of Bovis. Okay? Bovis has been around a very long time, as you can see from the document. So what we're determining now is that health starts at 16,500 Bovis. That's a healthy person, 16,500 Bovis, based on the system that Dr. Frank used, Professor Frank uses. That system is measurable through a pendulum and through a process of measuring and by the way, a pendulum is a very, very old measurement system on this planet. It's been used for a very long time, pendulum and dowsing, because it's based on the magnetic fields on the planet and your intention and the information that's coming from the device or the information from wherever it is. So in that small spectrum, and I can give you a way to do this, you can go downtown in Vilcabamba, you can put your hand on electrical outlet or electrical, let me say that differently, on the meter, put your hand on the meter and muscle test yourself. In fact, you don't need to go to Vilcabamba. I did that, so I was saying that. You can put your hand on an electrical outlet right now in your house and muscle test yourself, and you'll see that muscle testing is disharmonic to your body. You put your hand on electrical outlet, muscle test yourself, it'll be disharmonic, and your energy will not be congruent with it. That clear? Okay. Now, that's a Bovis issue. That's not a non-enhancing Bovis issue. This is why Tesla sort of like said, maybe DC is not the way to go, but that didn't matter. That wasn't on the agenda. So we're now dealing with two things right now that are bringing our immune system down specifically besides EMF pollution. Number one is the water you're drinking and electricity in your house. Now let me explain this to you. So in the Bovis scale information, the body's 16,500. Now, this is way off the charts for lots of people. So I realize this is a lot of data here, a lot of science, but I'm giving you context, okay? So you will understand why you're doing what you're doing. Not that you have to explain this to all people. You certainly don't, and probably don't want to. But the bottom line is I'll do that. If they get on this call, I'll do that. But the information I'm trying to understand is that everything around you is either enhancing you or suppressing you or neutral. So 16,500 is the Bovis. So we did a Bovis test of the water in Netherlands, and it's about 16,500. So the water is congruent with life force to a certain degree. But then we took the bottle topper or the HydroPro Go and we measured that, and it's 53,000 Bovis. So just running your water through a bottle topper gives you 53,000 Bovis. Just that bottle topper in anything you're drinking or consuming makes a really high life-giving shift in your electrical system. You follow me? So what we began to understand is, where are we having critical issues with this Bovis? Well, if I said to you before that the air between you and I is a field. Now, first of all, it's a field between you and I. So what Tesla was pointing out to was, if you understand the frequency, energy, and vibration of life, it's in the field. So this means that if I'm altering the field, I'm altering your level of information and energy. You understand what I'm saying? You can't see it, But electromagnetics and EMF pollution is altering the field of information in the air. It's altering the information in the air. See, God didn't just make it in the water, he made it in the air. We have life-giving in it. We were designed to live on a life-giving planet, a life-giving sphere. So the space in between you and I is energy. It's energy now that's being altered all around the planet through EMF pollution. And this is causing a massive mutation in our energy system. It's not today, it's not tomorrow, but it's affecting your immune system long term. Could be 6 months, depends on what it is. Okay, we have an epidemic of cancers. Where are all these cancers coming from? Chemicals. Let me say it differently. Frequency distortion. Frequency distortion. Chemicals are causing frequency distortion. EMF pollution is causing frequency distortion. Your body's ability to consume and operate with full spectrum energy is being distorted. And you can't see it. In fact, you aren't even taught to think about it or to even understand it. But it doesn't minimize its impact. Okay? So what's happening with EMF pollution? I'll tell you what's happening. You can't grab your ass with both hands. You can't think. You can't process. Your energy system doesn't enable you to complete the transaction. You're toxic in your electrical processes. Does that make sense? Is this landing like really crazy for people? It's like, oh my God, this guy's so intense. I can't deal with this. I'm all falling asleep. I mean, tell me the truth, because I need the feedback. Is it, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't shift. This was about shifting a paradigm today. That's what I wanted to accomplish. So I want you to understand the world you can't see around you. So this EMF situation is altering your electrical processing systems. It's polluting your ability to think, to do things, to have creative process, to access the creator, to access the innate, to have creativity, all that stuff. You're not thinking independently. Your information is being rerouted in the form of a computer. Your diagnostic processes, the way you interpret information, the way you think, the way you are looking at life is being remutated as a computer. Electromagnetic pollution is refragging, is creating a fragging of your ability to process information. From an innate perspective, you're now becoming artificial intelligence in the way you access and process information. And you're just sitting there. This is what's going on. Your information, as the more time they bring out more towers and more information and more this and more this, first of all, your immune system can no longer put up with it. It can't deal with it. Your water's polluted, your air is polluted. Now you're surrounded with frequency disruptions that you can't see, that you can't process. The body's really brilliant, so it continues to work with it. But the outcome is you are now being rerouted in the way you process information. So you can't access source. We can't access source anymore. And I mean, look at the world. The world is like in chaos because people can't find their center. Oh, why is that? Because their water's information's changed, their air information's changed, their electromagnetics has changed. They don't have a way to ground. So what are we going to do now? Well, we got to change the air, first of all, and we got to change that electricity. So this is key right now. What I'm about to say is really important, and it's way out of the box. You have a level of Bovis right now that you're all using that's negative 50,000 Bovis. Negative 50,000 Bovis. You have a technology. I have two of them. One's called an 11, one called an 8, that provides negative 50,000 Bovis. So this means I'm working my butt off. I'm doing everything I can with all my organics. I'm taking care of everything, And you know what? And I'm sitting next to a cell phone that emits negative 50,000 bovis. Well, what do we got to do to technology to remove EMF pollution? Now, I know this is a little bit something to deal with. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you're right, Irene. It does affect the pineal gland because it charges disharmonically the water. So this is a whole new world now. You know, you've been hearing these things like, and this is something that's way new. This is way new right now. This is why I wanted to bring just this first trial group here. We're not dealing anymore about protecting yourself from EMF pollution. You know, like put your thing on the phone and protect your phone and so forth and so on. That's what we've been playing with. I want my shield. I want to be able to show the shield. Oh, no. We have to change the actual bovis of the phone. We have to change the bovis of the computer. We have to change the bovis of the stuff, electricity in our house. And so we've got now embedded technologies through these dots or activators or points or whatever we're going to call them that are way high bovis. They provide rich information and the minerals and nutrients and the frequencies that you need to offset these electromagnetic pollution devices. So tell me if you understand what I'm saying. The electromagnetic pollution has gotten so great on this planet that the daily devices that you use are literally designed now to bring down the immune system of your body. We're not going to stop using these devices, but we better calibrate them. We better make sure they're giving us energy okay, so if we put a simple sticker on there, a sticker that's been designed to provide a frequency boost or a charge, or again, change the energy like the fluoride of that phone, it's going to now make that phone no longer negative 50,000 bovis, it makes it 50,000 bovis. So when you think about your indoor environments, you've got to raise up all the life-giving ability inside of your home. Because you've got electricity, you've got EMF, you got all these different things. And if you don't have it on your wall, your neighbor has it coming through their wall. So you're under attack in two ways here. The pollution in your system, in your waters, in your bloodstream. So your blood's no longer purified. The water will help purify your blood. In your own home, at your own tap, under your choice. Okay, number two is you got to get rid of this distortion in your energy field. Your bioresonance is totally screwed up because you can't think, you can't process, you can't act, you can't think innate source thoughts because you're polluted with this bioresonance. And again, you've never been talked about this one. First of all, we're going to talk about water. Well, guess what? Water's, not hydrogen and oxygen. Well, now we're going to talk about something called bioresonance. The hell is bioresonance? There's a full spectrum. We operate at full spectrums. We operate at a spectrum. If we don't operate in that informational spectrum, we're unhealthy. These spectrums are what we need to counteract these disharmonic frequencies. We need higher spectrums, fuller spectrums, more energized spectrums. By putting that little dot on that phone, you raise the spectrum and the harmful frequencies coming from that phone, or from that computer, or from that refrigerator, or from that whatever it is, whatever that EMF device is. Now they say, well, but if I put the meter in there, will it stop the EMF? I don't know the answer to that question, but what I do know is I've changed the vibrational input coming from that device. And along the way, we might ask that question, we might try that meter. But again, this is a measuring device very similar to measuring water. It's designed a particular way. What my focus is, and what our focus is, folks, here, is to understand we're raising up the immune system so the body can heal itself. The body has to be in a position to heal itself. You have to change the water in the body, and you have to change the bovis, or the spectrum, the full spectrum. So what's the result of all this? If I put that little sticker on my phone, what happens? You raise up your spectrum. You raise up your frequency. You raise up your energy. You lessen the amount of electromagnetic pollution that's coming at you every day. And there's a lot coming at you every day. Now, we've adapted to it. We don't know it. We don't think about it. But it's everywhere. And it's increased exponentially. I mean, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. It's all about more and more and more and more EMF pollution. What the hell is that? We've never had to deal with EMF pollution. There was no EMF pollution in the 70s. There was nothing going on in the farm. There was no electromagnetic distortion challenging my livers and kidneys and cells and tissues. There was nothing like that going on. I mean, do you understand what's happening with your electrical system with EMF pollution? It's amazing you can even think at all, because your whole system is being shocked and distorted and charged and da. And you're just like on the phone. I mean, I am too. We're on the phone right now. We're doing Zoom, So the point is, we've got to change the BOVA scale. And the only way I can speak about this in terms of the BOVA setting is that it's life-giving. Imagine a computer can be life-giving. Yeah, why? Because it's an energy device. We can change its form. How can my cell phone be life-giving? Because it's an energy device. I can change its form. See, the key here is you have the ability as transmuters. This energy can either be created or destroyed. We're all transmuters. That's the important thing about human beings. We don't yet understand what divinity means for us. We don't understand who we really are as full spectrum beings. We have it in us. We were given this. This is our DNA. This is why we're being suppressed at every corner. Because when we're lit up, we're lit up. We're a force. When we're lit up as beings, we are a force. You ever ask the question, what does it mean to dumb down society? I just explained to you in the last hour and a half what dumbing down society looks like. Okay, this is what we're dealing with, is being dumbed down in our water. Why? Because we're 70, 90% water. Okay, in our air. So what's our solution to our air? Okay, now, this is real practical. For all those people now taking notes in practicality, here's practicality. The air is full of viruses, bacteria, funguses, mildews, molds, all kinds of different things. They're living organisms. Okay, right now we've been given the last one called COVID. COVID is a virus, a SARS, and it lives on the fine dust that you and I can't see. 15 years with pigs, chicken, and cows taught us a lot about SARS and coronavirus and COVID. Okay, we basically penetrate the stem of the COVID, and it deflates like a balloon and falls to the ground as dust. Okay, it's a biological contaminant. In spite of the fact that they think it's a pesticide, it's electromagnetic. It's a static kind of electromagnetic semiconductor charge that happens. It's negative ionization, seeks a positive charged molecule, which is what fungus and molds and bacteria are. And they mate and they die and they fall to the ground. And the key is, as long as we're filling the space with more negative ions and positive ions, we're going to clean that space. And when we do, we pop that balloon and we unlock the oxygen that was in the air. Because the air is contaminated by all these positive charge. Again, it's the same thing with positive loaded, but it's full of, again, you can't see it, but there's a world of difference when you start putting a plug-in or a tower in your house and feel the difference of ionization and when you unplug it. Barbara can speak to this in a few minutes. So it's amazingly different energy because you're getting all that great negative ionization. It's like taking a beach and bringing it into your home, bringing it into your car, bringing it into your office. Okay. Now, a little trick that we've learned is if we take the sticker or the activator or the button or the dot and you put it on your electrical line and you plug in these devices, they carry a wave out into your home. And that wave not only gets rid of the positive things, the COVIDs, the mildews, and the bacteria, but it also sends out the frequencies that are in that sticker, which is that full spectrum biological energy that you want for full spectrum. Now, what's happening with the air is the air releases, it collapses, and at least puts more oxygen into your bloodstream. So you can be very confident with our ionization technology. It's not like anything else out there, really isn't, because we don't filter. We're not an air filter company. We don't filter the air. We don't UV the air. We don't ozone the air. We kill pathogens. We kill them. I'm sorry to be so graphic, but it's necessary because that's what people understand. We eliminate the threat. We have heat-seeking missiles that look for every positive thing to come out of the ventilation system, and you know where they're coming from? Your mouth. They come through the CO2, and as it comes out of the CO2, boom, gone, boom, gone, boom, gone, boom, gone, that fast. And we're not talking about 1 million level ions per second, not 2 million. We produce 750 million ions per second in one device called an ion tower. We put 120 million ions in that 10 by 10 room where your children sleep. Okay. We are amazingly powerful at what we do.